Let's stay at this place. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode. So today we're going to get a few wee odd jobs done. One being the ramp and the other one being the diesel heater. So at the moment I still haven't done my electrics. The thing that I do want to do is I want to change how it's wired up, because even though I primarily use BLUETTI power stations, I hate that I'm limited to what power stations I can use through that 12 volt socket. So in that sense, I've bought something to try and remedy it. So just now my diesel heater's going into the fuse board, which then goes into the 12 volt socket. I'm going to bypass that for something like that. So basically this is a 12 volt converter to 240. So basically we're bypassing the 12 volt and getting through the AC. And if you are wondering why I want to go through the AC, because traditionally the AC does use more power, that is true, but this method with the AC should allow anybody with any power station to be able to run a diesel heater in their van. So that's what I want to test today. I'm going to test it with the BLUETTI Elite 200 V2, and then I'm going to test it with a power station that hasn't ran any diesel heaters on the channel and cooled them down, and that's all powers. So we'll see how that works with a small all powers Volax P300. So that's the other job of the day. The first job of the day is the ramp, because as you can see right now we can't open a door. So I'm going to use a multi-tool and cut along here and down here just so that this can open. I've no idea how this is going to go. I'm just hoping for the best, to be honest. Right, I'll do this bottom bit first. Give me a bit of wood so I can keep it separate. Aye, we're nearly there. Safety first though. If I was you I would wear glasses. I don't have any. Hey, we are through. Nice clean cut. So now we want to cut it maybe about here. Hey, it's got a bill on there. That went a lot easier than I thought it was going to go. And hey presto, hey, look at that. Still a good bit of a gap as well, that it's not hitting the floor. Yeah. I thought it was going to take a lot longer, if I'm being honest. I was going to take all of this off and have like a loop kind of thing, but now we don't need to do that. I do need to get bolts for this. I think I've got a few, but aye, job one done. Right, on to the next. So this isn't just random wood everywhere. It will all make sense soon. It is starting to annoy me now that I can't use my diesel heater. Just stick that in there now. I think the easiest way to do it just now is just to get the switch off, because I'm not going to use this anymore. I might keep the switches though. Let's just cut these. Right, that's the fuse board emptied. And just in case you're wondering, this is basically the cable that I used to run the diesel heater, the lights and everything to the power station. So positive and negative for the diesel heater. So this wee kit does actually come with wee terminals and stuff. I think the way I'm going to do it just to test it is just go straight on with the wires. As you can see here as well, it tells you on the left positive and minus, then you've got your wee power button. Just make sure the wires are all together. And trust me, I hate wiring as much as the next guy, but it is pretty straightforward. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap this round this wee thing. It's just to hold it, it's not really a permanent solution yet. Like that. And that is literally the setup. So the only thing I need to do now is just put diesel in the tank and we should be ready to go. I think I'm going to try and tighten this bolt up as well under the lid in case it's came loose over time. It doesn't need to be super tight, like that. Do you know what, before I put it back in, I'm going to give this a wee bit of hoover out as well. But guys, if you want to see how I put my diesel heater in so you can do it yourself, I'll leave a link up here. It was pretty straightforward, but I would go and check the video out just in case you want to put a diesel heater in your own van. It's honestly not as scary as you think it is. I hate doing electrical stuff. I hate doing stuff like this, and even I found it easy, so go and check that video out if you're needing a diesel heater. Right, all cleaned out, let's get the tank in. So there's about 2 litres in that just now, but that's ready to go. We'll just prop the door up. If this works, this could be a game changer for anybody with any power station. So we're all plugged in. Have a look at this setup. So before, we had the positive and negative going to a switch, and then it would feed into the fuse board. That is the setup right there. Your positive, your negative and your power, which goes into the AC. So you don't need a fuse board, don't need a complicated wire setup, just positive, negative and the power cable. So let's get it tested. Quick thing to note as well, on the side you do get a power conversion. So 110 is for the American market and this side is for the EU or UK. So I'm just making sure that's on 220. We've got diesel in, we've got the power set up. Oh my god, I'm nervous. So first thing I want to do is make sure I've got power coming in. AC on. And the good thing about this has got its own power switch, as you can see down here. So that is now on. And as you can see, we have power at the diesel heater. So we've got the power, we've got the diesel in the tank. Will it work? So the test that I'm going to be looking for with this setup is how many watts it takes on startup, how many watts it takes when it's at the ambient temperature, and the third one, which is the biggest one, how many watts it takes to cool it down. Now the fact that we are going through the AC is a wee bit better because there is more power coming out of the AC than the 12 volts, so I'm not worried about it, but again, we'll see. So let's go. Oh, let me take this out. We'll set that up like that so we don't burn the plastic. And we are away. Let's get straight on here. So if there is any fault codes, the diesel heater should trip. But you can see already we're up at 195 watts. So as you can see, it is cycling through. The pump's kicked in. But we are up at 215 watts. So there you see it's dropping down now. Rapidly dropping. Wow. I'm not going to lie, it is making me a wee bit worried how it's going to be on the cool down, because traditionally, from what I've seen on power stations, it takes far more to cool it down than it does to power it up for some reason. But just now, aye, we have heat and we're only taking 12 watts. The 200 watts at the start is pretty high, but the wattage here, when it's working, that's pretty normal. So I would say for the start up, for the 200 watts, was roughly about maybe 2-3 minutes, and it's all coming from this device here. Let's see what the cool down's like now and see how many watts it's taking. So we are now on cool down, and there's the watts shooting right up. So roughly on the 12 volt, it's normally about 120. Highest it's ever been is 130. So we're 150 now. So we're clearing 200 anyway for the cool down as well, and that's the fans kicked in. And no fault codes, so that's now down to 60, so it's only held to 200 very briefly, but so far so good. About 13 watts, and the fans kicked down as well, so it's not going as hard. So that 12 volt to 240 volt converter has just ran my 5 kilowatt hour diesel heater from the AC. At max it was roughly about 250, 260, and then roughly 12 and 13 watts to run it at the low temperature. To cool it down it was roughly about 220, 240, but that was for less time than it was to start it up. There you have it, that's it shut down. No error codes, no fault codes. So naturally the BLUETTI Elite 200 V2 is going to power this diesel heater with that converter because it does output 2600 watts from the AC. So let's see how this is going to operate with a power station with a base 300 watts output. And could this be the first all powers power station that I show on the channel running and cooling down my diesel heater? Well, let's see, because I'm going to use the new All Powers Volix P300. So the Volix All Powers does go to 300 watts, but it does surge to 600 watts. Turn the AC off, and then just go straight in. And you can see we'll get power up the top there. And we also have power up the top. So far so good. So I do have a review video coming out for the All Powers Volix P300, and it's going to be part of the giveaway for December. So if this runs this diesel heater with that converter, then for your own van build you could have a simple diesel heater setup. So we are up and running, and it's up to 180 watts, and it's actually sitting there quite the thing. So I'm kind of wondering, are we cheating here because the glow plugs are warmed up already? It's been running from the BLUETTI, but in any case it's only taking 180 watts. So there's the pump kicking on. So it's running at no bother and it's at 195 watts. And even at 70%, if it was 200 watts, you would get 1.5 hours out of it. So this is the 256 watt hour version, but that wattage is going to kick down. And it is starting to get hot now. There you go, it's starting to drop now. And this is going to tell us how many hours we can actually run this diesel heater at the lowest setting. So look, straight away about 3 hours. So far so good, no fault codes. And it's only taken 38 watts. So right away we can run this just now for 5 hours. This is next level if this manages to cool down my diesel heater. So why does this matter? Well, if you're like me and you hate electrics and you hate crimping and you hate trying to wire things up and stuff, this wee device just means that any diesel heater on the market can be powered through 240 instead of 12 volt. And like I've demonstrated on the channel, a lot of power stations won't run it through that 12 volt socket. BLUETTI's fine for some reason. BLUETTI can handle it no bother, but All Powers just doesn't do it at all. It just doesn't like it. So being able to use this device as a plug and play effort, everybody can have access to diesel heaters, which since we're coming into winter is the most important part. So we are getting the heat now. And it's roughly floating between 28 and 30 watts, which is giving us roughly about 6.3 hours. Now remember, this is only at 68%, so if this was at 100%, you'd probably see maybe about close to 9-10 hours. I think 10 a day watts are actually coming from idling with this. But aye, running for 10 minutes and no issues. But we've been here before, haven't we? So I wonder if the new series on AC will be able to handle the cool down. Let's see. And we are off. So let's go straight onto it. So traditionally all power stations can't cool down my diesel heater. This time though we are on the AC, not the 12 volt, so we're straight up at 135. Is this going to be our world's first on RobnDob? But again, the Volux P300 does output 300 watts with a surge of 600, so it shouldn't go anywhere near that. So 217, 218. So far so good. So it's maintaining that 60 watts. If this was any other power station, it would have cancelled out 2 seconds in trying to cool it down. But again, that was on the 12 volt. And look at the wattage. So in my book, the All Powers Volux P300 has just passed the diesel heater test. It's the first All Powers to pass that challenge of being able to run my diesel heater and cool it down. I am going through the AC with the 12 volt 240 converter, so I have complete faith that if you use this device with the All Powers R1500, R600, R2500, you would have no bother at all with this setup running a diesel heater. So this 12 volt to 240 volt converter is amazing. It's a game changer. I will be using this now in the van. I'm not using my 12 volt for my diesel heater. I'm just strictly going to use the AC now. And there you go, it is now off. And as you can see, we are taking 10 watts. So just to run it, it's taking 10 watts already, if you see here. And that 10 watts is basically just a standby mode, which is fine because again, it is a power source. And the good thing as well, there is a power switch on this. So if you've got it plugged into your power, you don't even really need to turn it off or pull the plug out. You can just turn it off from here. So I'm not sponsored by the company that makes this. I was just looking for an alternative way to run my diesel heater rather than going through the 12 volt system, because I do a lot of power station reviews on the channel and I hate when I get to the 12 volt diesel heater test because, as I said, BLUETTI is the only one that runs the diesel heater. So this device now makes it fair game. And you saw how easy it is to set up as well, just basically the positive and negative. You've got your power supply there and you're away. So there is wee mount clips on the side as well and on the back. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get wee brackets so that I can basically stand it up like that, and then when I want to turn it on I can just reach down and turn it on from there. But this is a cracking piece of kit for anybody that needs a diesel heater in their van but they're just scared to get all the wiring done. As you saw, it was so simple to install this. So I will leave a wee link to it in the description. I think I got it for Amazon. I think it was roughly about £40 or 45 maybe. There is another one I'll show you here, and it's basically just got the terminals along here. So you basically need to get your power supply, cut the wires, and then take the grounding, the positive and the negative, and feed them in through the different ports. And I think they ones are only about £20, so if you know what you're doing, go for that one. But for me, I just wanted the convenience of just positive and negative, and that's it, with the power supply embedded in it and a power cord. So this is going to be completely separate from everything else in the van electrics wise, and all I need to do to run it is plug it into the AC. And I meant to say as well, this has got a fan on it, so if this does get too hot, it kicks the fan on to cool it down. But if all I'm running from it is a diesel heater, I'm not worried about it. And I was actually just thinking as well, this isn't just for van life. If you've got an outhouse in your garden or anything like that, or a workspace in a shed or a man cave, then this is going to be ideal, so you're not using electric heaters and stuff. Because again, you could get any diesel heater and just bring the positive and negative to here, and you're good to go. Just make sure to set it up properly with the exhaust outside. If you've got a power station that I would say minimum is 300 watts output from the AC, then you need to get this to run your diesel heater. So guys, if you did go and enjoy the episode, why not drop it a wee like and let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think of this absolute beast of a game changer. But if you haven't already, why not get subscribed and hit that bell notification so you're always notified when I drop a new video. So until the next one guys, peace.